About a third of Americans rent where they currently live. With this credit card right here, this allows you to pay for rent with zero transaction fees. And with the average rent in the US about $2,000 a month, why not get something back? In this video, I'll go over everything that you need to know about the Bilt credit card, whether or not it will be a good credit card to have in your lineup, whether you're a newbie or an advanced credit card user. What's up, winners? My name is Nam. If you're new here, welcome. Here we talk all things personal finance and credit. Start now by subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos. So first, let's quickly go over the rewards that you get with this credit card. So you can get 1x on rent payments up to $100,000. So this is equivalent to 100,000 points. The other multipliers you get is 3x on dining, 2x on travel, and 1x on other purchases. The caveat about travel is that it's not all inclusive of all travel. There are certain things that it does not cover. The things that they do cover is essentially anything that gets classified as airlines, hotels, motels, resorts, cruise lines, and car rental agencies. Some of the things that are not classified as travel will be vacation rentals such as VRBOs, Airbnbs, campgrounds, or RV rentals. Now, the caveat with all of these point multipliers is that you have to make at least 5 transactions per month. The good thing is that rent does count for one of them, so in actuality, rent plus 4 more transactions will give you the ability to earn those points. Now, if you were not to make a total of 5 transactions but paid rent that month, you would earn just a flat 250 points when you use your Bilt MasterCard to pay rent through the Bilt app. I think the main reason behind this is that they actually want you to use this card as your primary card. They don't want people just to get this card to pay rent and just collect those points and not use it for anything else. I think the best way to go about this is making a bunch of small purchases such as small Amazon reloads or anything that you could break down to smaller transactions. Now, depending on how you use the points will determine how much value that you will actually get from this card. There are some horrible ways to actually use Bilt points. The worst way is to use your points towards future rent payments, which is essentially cash back, and it comes at 0.55 cents. The next one is to use it towards Amazon purchases, which is 0.7 cents per point. Now, this is just slightly better, but still not that good of a redemption. Next, you can earn roughly around 1 cent per point if you were gonna book one of their fitness classes or buy anything from the Bilt collection, which is kind of like artwork or things like that. But again, if you're not into that type of thing, it's really not that good of a redemption. But nonetheless, this is probably where the starting point would be if I were to consider to use my Bilt points. Now, where it starts to get a little bit better is when you start trying to redeem these points towards travel, especially through the Bilt travel portal. Your points are worth 1.25 cents per point, which is very equivalent to Chase Ultimate Rewards points if you're gonna book it through the Chase travel portal. It's pretty much the same exact concept. I honestly think this is where most people will get their value because it's pretty simple. You just search for the flights that you want and just book through the app. Not everybody wants to transfer their points to maximize and squeeze every single amount of value from their points. You can also get some extra value by using your points towards a future down payment towards a home, which makes your points worth 1.5 cents per point. I think the concept here is good, but the likelihood of anyone gaining that many points to be used towards a home down payment is a huge opportunity cost in travel and in time. Let's just say that you earn 50,000 points on this card. This will be equivalent to $750 towards a down payment. Now, we all know that houses are pretty darn expensive. Unless you put a lot of spend on this card, this amount will barely move the needle for your down payment. Now, I know that this is a little bit better than nothing, but honestly, I think your points will be much better used towards travel and experiences. Where you would actually get the most value from your points is by transferring to transfer partners. The goal here is to try to aim above 2 cents per point, but if you're trying to go more towards aspirational travels, your points can be as high as 10 cents per point. Like if you're booking a first class ticket to Europe or a luxury bungalow in the Maldives. Now let's go over the status that you get with Bilt. This is something that's pretty unique with the Bilt credit card because they have 4 status tiers, which is the blue, silver, gold, and platinum. At each one of these levels, there are certain perks. For the silver tier and above, you can earn interest on your points, and for the gold and above, you can get a concierge that will help you with the home buying process if you are interested in buying a home. The way to gain status is essentially just by earning your way there. Once you earn 25,000 Bilt points and up, this is when you start seeing some of these benefits. Now, this will take a lot of time to do so. For example, you would have to spend at least $25,000 in rent or spend around $8,300 in dining. I think this is a pretty cool perk to have, but unless you're a huge spender, it's really not that valuable in my eyes. Let's go over some of the travel perks that come along with this card since this is a very travel targeted credit card. The first one is probably the best one that they have, which is primary car rental insurance. There are not that many credit cards out there that provide this. Typically the ones that do have an annual fee of around $99 and up. So for a credit card to just give this away with no annual fee is pretty insane. Now there are other pretty useful travel perks such as 6-hour trip delay coverage, no foreign transaction fees, trip cancellation and interruption insurance, purchase protection, and up to $800 of cell phone insurance. Another very useful feature is that they do have a partnership with a website called point.me. This is a website that is an aggregator that allows you to search for award availability for flights. This is extremely useful if you're into traveling with points and getting to the points and miles game. With this partnership, this allows you to maximize your points, and it also is a free tool that allows you to search for award flights where you may have points in those areas. All you would have to do to use this tool is just to use it right through the Bilt Rewards app, and this allows you to search through Bilt Transfer Partners. Essentially, any travel partner that Bilt is connected to, this allows you to search for those flights. If you were to pay for this service separately, this usually comes out to be around $12 a month, but this allows you to search across all multiple airlines and a bunch of different type of points, not just Bilt Rewards. I really like this partnership a lot, and you can see why this credit card is very heavily targeted for those who would like to travel. Now let's talk about rent days. Bilt has an ongoing promotion that allows you to earn double the points on the first of every month. This means that you can earn 6x on dining, 4x on travel, and 2x on other purchases. Unfortunately, you don't get a multiplier for rent. So given that you would have to spend at least 5 qualifying transactions per month to earn rent points, one of the best ways to do it is to try to do all 5 transactions on the first of the month. Essentially, you're just killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But I understand that people don't live the life around the first of the month, so depending on what day it falls on, it may or may not be as valuable for most others. Now let's take a step back and talk about credit for a second. Based on the current data points, if you have a credit score of at least 670 and above, you have pretty good odds of getting approved. Of course, it is Wells Fargo's credit card, so if you have any previous history with them, this will better your chances. When it comes to the credit bureaus that are pulled, it really depends on where you live. And the majority of the data points out there shows that people get pulled from Experian. This is exactly what happened to me, so just try to make sure that your Experian credit score is in tip-top shape before applying. One credit aspect that I do like about this card a lot is that this allows you to continue to build credit by reporting your rental payments to the credit bureaus. Now, there is a caveat. Only properties that are in the Bilt Alliance are available to have this information reported. This is a great way for renters to continue to build credit, even though most landlords do not report payment information. There are third-party companies and fintechs that offer this service, but this is absolutely free from Bilt. Now, if you're not in a Bilt Alliance building, they said that they are currently working on a solution for that, so hopefully we will hear something from that soon. Now, let's talk about where does it make sense to actually get this card. At the making of this video, this is the only credit card on the market that allows you to earn points on rent without a transaction fee. Normally, when you use a credit card to pay rent, you would typically have to pay about 3% of the whole amount. So for instance, if you had to pay $2,000 for rent, you would have to pay a $60 extra just for that fee. Over time, this adds up. So $60 times 12, that will be an additional $720. Now, even if your property only accepts checks, you can still pay with your card through the Bilt Rewards app, and they will send the landlord a check on your behalf. In addition to that, you can also pay your landlord via Venmo and PayPal, so there are plenty of flexibility there if your landlord is not a part of the Bilt Rewards Alliance. I really see this card being really useful for those who are living in high-cost areas like major cities. So for instance, San Francisco, New York, LA, or basically any major city in your state. If you live in a smaller town or somewhere that's more rural, this may not be that worth it since it does come with opportunity costs. So for me, I live in Southern California and my rent is pretty high. And I can see myself maxing out $50,000 per year just in rent alone. Now, that may sound crazy for some, but that's just the prices of just living in California. Another reason why I see to get this card is that if you are a person who enjoys traveling and transferring credit card points. Using credit card points to travel, it's already a skill in itself. So if you're a person who wants to figure out the ins and outs of credit card hacking, then Bilt is definitely a good pick. There are some pretty solid transfer partners where it can make sense since there are not that many other cards or points that transfer to American Airlines, United Airlines, or Hyatt hotels. Now let's talk about where the Bilt credit card does not make sense. If your main purpose is accumulating credit card points for travel, then you know that any time that you sign up for a card, there's usually an opportunity cost that comes along with it. This is especially important when it comes to Chase. Why so many other content creators and influencers talk about Chase is that honestly, they have one of the best credit card lineups, especially for those who like to travel. And with Chase, since they do have an unofficial 524 rule, anytime that you burn one of those slots, that could be another Chase credit card that you can get. Where credit card hackers like myself get the most bang for the buck is usually not through spend. It is usually getting sign-up bonuses. So ideally, if you are a person who likes to travel and maximize Chase reward points, you may want to max out your desired Chase credit cards first rather than getting this card. Even if you do pay your rent with credit cards that offer a sign-up bonus, that small fee is still worth it since the sign-up bonus will usually surpass that fee. So that's the Bilt credit card in a nutshell. If you'd like to support this channel, I do have an affiliate link down in the description. What are your thoughts on the Bilt credit card? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to hang out with me some more and learn more about credit cards, check out these videos over here.